Hello and welcome to this special bonus episode of the Passive House podcast. I'm Zack Semke, Director of Passive House Accelerator, and in March 2023, I had the privilege of conducting a series of short interviews immediately after the close of the award ceremony that celebrated the winning projects for round 3 of the Buildings of Excellence competition presented by NYSERDA, the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. We at the Accelerator, in partnership with NYSERDA and AIA New York, produced the award ceremony at the Center of Architecture in New York City. Round 3 of NYSERDA's Buildings of Excellence program is an exciting $48 million plus initiative to advance clean and resilient buildings that are profitable, beautiful, and affordable for all New Yorkers. The award supports the state's goals to reduce greenhouse gas emissions 85% by 2050 and advance Governor Kathy Hochul's goal to achieve 2 million climate-friendly homes by 2030. My first interview was with Katrin Klingenberg, Executive Director and Co-founder of FIAS. I have Katrin Klingenberg here with FIAS. She's the co-founder and the director of FIAS. And we just finished with the round 3 award ceremony for the Buildings of Excellence program that was put on by NYSERDA. It was very exciting to see all these projects. FIAS, of course, featured very prominently in many of them. I would just love to hear from you about your kind of perspectives of the BOE program, why you think it's important, the relationship with Passive House, FIAS projects. Take it away.
We are, as an organization, hugely grateful to NYSERDA as like a really important partner in starting what some might call the Passive House movement, right?
Yeah.
And so the Buildings of Excellence program really is the accumulation of lots of efforts of many stakeholders in this entire process. And if we look at our main motivation, like as FIAS, our mission is making the zero carbon passive building standard mainstream. We've been working on this for 20 years. This is an amazing day.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd round of incredible projects that we've seen today. Beautiful, healthy, they look fantastic, they're affordable, they address equity, they address like climate, carbon, all of it, right? And Buildings of Excellence, buildings have shown we have the technology, we can do it, so just let's do it, and we're there.
And this year there was a real focus on design excellence, and there were 4 blue ribbon winners for design excellence that kicked off the awards ceremony. And it's really cool to see more and more examples of high performance buildings that also are beautiful and make people happy.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And what we're also seeing, so that hasn't happened in the rounds before, it's like entire developments of multiple buildings.
Right.
We've also seen one project, Market Rate, that is committing to going full to like all the way to zero. That really excites me because that's really the next step. That's what we have to get to. And yeah, so the finish line is starting to be in sight. And for those of us who are concerned with climate, yesterday might have been a little bit of a depressing day because the IPCC came out yet again with another dire warning, and not much new science because the science is clear. But on the positive side of things, they said like we're out of the red zone, so
right. There's progress.
There's
celebrate
progress.
that. Yeah.
And in the building sector, you guys, like everybody, the architects, stakeholders, standard setters, we've worked so hard to get here. And now, like, the city, like, I don't know, maybe the best city on the planet, I don't know. For me, the most exciting, I have plenty exciting cities, but I have a special connection to New York City because this is where we first came to do training, like Parsons New School, the very first kind of like New York Passive House training in 2009, and look how far we've come.
That's so cool.
And given that time frame, it's really fantastic.
Yeah, and we're in the basement right now. You wouldn't know it actually because there's so much natural light in this space. This is the Center for Architecture of AIA New York's space, and I think this is an important space for you during that period that you're talking about from 2009 to now.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, you have some memories here, I think.
I do. So over the years, there have been like multiple training sessions, of course, also from the local partners in New York City. But so a few times I was invited to speak here, and one of the presentations was really meaningful because that was the first time when like principles were applied to larger multifamily buildings. We started talking about envelope construction on larger buildings and detailing. And also it's important to address the architects and to maybe start, like we as technicians, building scientists, like we talk a lot of tech.
Right.
But to make it palatable for the architecture community, like let's talk about the big picture, the bigger meaning, and like the good things that come through applying tech. Like now we've learned the lessons, we've learned the notes, we can forget them. Let's forget the super insulation talk and the ERV talk and triple pane window talk. That still scares a couple people, but it's already in the mainstream. So now we can start talking about the beauty, we can talk about the health, we can talk about what it does for the climate, all the good stuff. So.
The next interview was with James Hartford, partner at River Architects, who received an award for his Bank Loft project. I have James Hartford here of River Architects. James is a good friend and just an inspiring figure in the Passive House community and Passive House world. So it's really great to have you here, and congrats on the award. Yeah, it's super great. We're here for the Buildings of Excellence Round 3 award ceremony, and you just received the award. Can you talk about the project that was the award-winning project?
Yes, yeah. So we got early design support. That was our award, and so we'll hopefully be submitting that for the full, design award. River Architects is a early design support provider under NYSERDA. The NYSERDA awards basically cover all of the cost differences for doing high-performance building design, as well as marketing. So we got design support covered by NYSERDA for our clients, and it really helps close the gap.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So as a designer practicing in New York, what kind of impact do you see the program making, and why do you think it's an important thing here?
Well, I think it's really important to see how NYSERDA is attacking the problem of building electrification and energy efficiency in buildings, like at a complete cross level, kind of effort, right? So River Architects is consulting with NYSERDA and the Department of State of New York State on all of their DRI, Downtown Revitalization Initiative grant winning communities.
Yeah. So
we're actually talking to municipalities and individual building owners on how they can make their communities more sustainable. So that level of consultation, I think, is really helpful. That just really broad scale outreach, and then getting into really particular project specific things. And so, and then the Buildings of Excellence design competition is obviously about really, kind of celebrating those few kind of bigger visibility ones that, I think helps, make it seem more achievable for everybody else.
Right. And you've been practicing Passive House in New York for as long as pretty much anyone has been.
Yeah.
So what's the trajectory that you see, and kind of where do you see things going in the next couple of years?
Well, it's clear. I mean, New York State energy code is heading towards Passive House. That's inescapable. So for the time being, it's still seen as a little bit exotic. But now people come to us knowing what Passive House is, and they seek us out because of that experience that we've got. So I don't have to spend any time like I used to, or as much time educating people on the benefits of Passive House. But so already the uptake is really big, and I think as these programs and our efforts at communicating this stuff, it's just inevitable that it's going to be the new normal.
Yeah. Well, awesome. And you've played a real trailblazing role in all of that, so I really appreciate it, and congrats on the award.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Zach.
Next up are Jeff Murrell of Rosenblum Development Corporation and Sean Korp of Balzer and Tuck Architecture, who received an award for their 1818 Fifth Avenue Passive House project. I have two award winners here from the Buildings of Excellence Round 3 awards program at the Center for Architecture. So if we could start by, if you could introduce yourselves, and then let's dive into the project.
Sure. I'm Jeff Morrell. I'm from Rosenblum Development Corp.
Great.
Sean Korp from Balzer and Tuck Architecture.
Awesome. And so this is actually, I mean, I know that you won in round 2 as well, and now we're round 3. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell us about the project.
Sure. So it's actually a infill project in city of Troy, New York. We've done 2 projects there before, both mixed-use multifamily projects with Balzer-Tuck Architecture. So we're very excited to be working with their team again. We've been sort of iterating on the path to more sustainable, resilient buildings, and this building is definitely going to be probably one of the deepest expressions of that path in terms of not only being Passive House certified, but we're also very much looking at our embodied carbon. It's an all-wood building, no concrete and steel, so we're excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So as a developer, what is drawing you to this kind of work?
You know, it's interesting. We're 40 years young, and we generally say we're a property manager that also develops, and I think we take a long view. And the other thing is we're a bit of a boutique firm. I mean, we have a pretty significant portfolio in the capital region, but we really like to focus on projects that are accretive to the communities that we're in, that we know that we can operate in the long term. And we're really not building buildings. We really view it, and I know it sounds a little hokey, but we really do look at it as building legacy. And my co-principal, Seth Rosenblum, and we both have children, and we view our practice through their eyes, and our team is really invested in sort of the mission-driven development side of things. So that's really informed, our focus on sustainable development.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's really important work. So as a designer, how has Passive House impacted your approach, or informed it? Were there challenges?
There will be challenges. For Balzer and Tuck, this is actually one of our first Passive House projects. We're teamed up with Sustainable Comfort on this project, and we're excited to get into the project and work with Rosenblum.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's congratulations. That'll be a great journey. We'll look forward to hearing stories about it. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on the award. It's been great to talk with you.
Thank you for everything that Passive House Accelerator does. We tune in weekly. And
awesome.
It's really great. It's such a great source of information.
Fantastic.
And frankly, to be part of the community. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Be well.
Thank you.
Next, I caught up with Purnamasi Roth and Ed Edinger of Edinger Engineering Associates about their Variety Boys and Girls Club redevelopment project. Well, I am really excited about this interview. A very cool project that we're going to hear about. We're here at the Buildings of Excellence Round 3 Awards Ceremony, hosted by NYSERDA and AIA New York and Passive House Accelerator. So without further ado, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves and your firm, and then we can dive into the project.
Sure. My name is Purnamasi Roth, and I am a principal of sustainability at Edinger Engineering Associates.
And I'm Ed Ettinger. I'm the managing principal of Edinger Engineering Associates as well.
Fantastic. So tell us about the project.
Our project is a Variety Boys and Girls Club, right on the line between Astoria and Long Island City and the city. We're fortunate enough to be able to redevelop a club space that currently is very passionate about sustainable building, because our project sponsor actually used to be a councilman who helped advance Local 97, the greenhouse carbon emissions tax in the city.
Cool.
So we have that on the base, and we're fortunate enough to be putting about 300 supportive and affordable housing units on top that will be leading the way in sustainable building technology.
In terms of the value, the benefit, the project is going for LEED certification, Energy Star certification, indoor air quality, and Fitwel certification. So with a variety of these programs, what the design is going to do is basically address the green requirements for the community in a holistic manner, and also make sure that the project is being designed to provide an optimal space in terms of the indoor air quality, for the physical and mental well-being of the residents of the affordable spaces.
The club really is looking to serve as a community partner the way that it is. It is going to open the doors of its lobby. It is going to have prominent walls that feature real-time building information, how its water is being used, what the solar production from the roof is, so that it can really have and capture a museum-like moment for both the users of the club, but also open to the neighborhood to highlight all the sustainable features that we're bringing.
As a Buildings of Excellence winner now, and as you're looking at kind of the future of building in New York, Why do you think the Buildings of Excellence program is important?
It does bring forward a range of these futuristic and innovative building designs that are meant to hail a new trend of designing for the future. These are supposed to be buildings of excellence truly in terms of being carbon neutral ready, reducing their carbon footprint, the embodied carbon, and also bringing forward like green certification programs to the forefront. Yeah, I think you can take that as well.
Well, and to just add, our residential component, while it will stop short of formal Passive House certification, is going to be built to Passive House standards, so we will be substantially improving the envelope and bringing fresh air ventilation with ERVs.
Right.
But what kind of becomes commonplace for folks like us that work in this space is not commonplace to others. So for argument's sake, I know that for an affordable development, a developer has to provide heat for the tenants or subsidize that through utility allowance credits.
Right.
But not everyone else does. So if we can deploy Passive House concepts to bring the heating and cooling loads, but specifically the heating loads of the building down, therein lies true payback that can drive the impetus for these types of projects.
Right.
And through programs like the NYSERDA Building of Excellence, we have a platform to deliver that message to a much broader audience.
Finally, I spoke with Jesse Schwartzberg of Black Mountain Architecture and Dave Bruns of Bruns Realty Group about the Eco Flats at Log City project. I have two award winners from the Round 3 Buildings of Excellence Awards ceremony that NYSERDA has just produced with AIA New York and Passive House Accelerator. And so it's really a pleasure to get to talk with you. Congrats on the award. And if you wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, and then we'll get into a little bit of the details of the project.
Sure. Jesse Schwartzberg, Black Mountain Architecture.
Dave Bruns, Bruns Realty Group.
Fantastic. So tell us about the project.
Yeah, it's Eco Flats at Log City. It's outside Albany, New York, and it's going to be 168 units, 13 buildings in total, FIAS 0.
Nice. FIAS 0. Congrats. Yeah. Why FIAS 0 for this development?
Bruns Realty Group has been doing a number of projects. We've built over 400 units of net zero projects, multifamily.
Nice. Yeah.
And we decided to kind of raise the bar and do FIAS certified or FIAS 0, and also a low embodied carbon construction.
Excellent. So you're looking at the total building emissions. Yeah.
Yeah,
fantastic.
It's market. Key point is market rate. So all the projects we've done for the last 10 years have been market rate, net zero, and there's certain aspects where we've run through Wolfie Passive and PHPP before. That's our energy modeling. Even though we know we're failing.
Yeah, right.
That's been the model to be to net zero and to figure out the most cost-effective way in a market rate scenario to do it.
Nice.
And so we're very familiar with what we need to do to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And part of it is just to do it in a market rate way has been what's been special about this team and how we've been approaching all these units for these years. So now our intention is to go into FIAS and have a similar approach of how do we cost effectively keep these market rate apartments. And so it's a fun group and a great team, and that's our next challenge.
Well, and cracking that nut is so important to the project that NYSERDA and Buildings of Excellence is all about, which is to figure out how to make all of this scale and work economically and deliver clean and resilient buildings to all people, right? Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about the kind of the role that you see the BOE program playing in market rate development of exemplary buildings?
The focus of this project is to pretty much wring the cost out of the FIAS design, make it something that is viable on an economic level. The community that it's in, the rent level there is not high, so we are definitely focused on getting the cost down.
Well, I really appreciate that you're doing the work you're doing, and congrats again on the award, and and all the best of luck with the project.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to this special bonus episode brought to you by NYSERDA. You can check out video versions of these interviews as well as the full award ceremony video on the Passive House Accelerator YouTube channel. We've included links in show notes as well. Until next time, be well, everybody.